Action Research Design. Hello, my name is Karen Bradbury and I will be talking to you about action research. The articles that I used are the use of participatory action research within education benefits to stakeholders, exploring types of educational action research, implications for research validity, participatory action research in culturally complex societies, opportunities and challenges, and what is action research? So what is action research? Action research was created in the 1960s to address issues with disadvantaged members of society, and since then has been used in different workplaces, fields, and disciplines. Participatory action research in social theory, Fowles-Borda described three ways which participatory action research challenges dominant quantitative positivist research paradigms proposed in the 70s. There was three challenges that he faced. The first one was the relationship between knowledge and reason, questioning of science as truth, the commitment to ethics, and effects on everyday life. 2, the theory and practice researchers went through decolonize themselves and the search for more satisfactory value. Explicit valuing of practice and action revealed their own sources of truth rather than being secondary to logic and theory. Also in the 70s, there was a critical pedagogy approach to education using action research. Education was especially used and participatory action research was to help benefit the students, teachers, and others within the education system. Action research has more than one meaning and can be either collaborative or done individually. And because action research has many perspectives, it is hard to define participatory action research as one definition. Because of its collaboration, participation, non-hierarchy, and its democratic approach, researchers first need to identify if action research is the right approach for their study before they can even use it. Action research moves away from the paradigm view of positivism. Instead, focuses on the person who is doing the research and the participant being researched. When using action research, the situation can be impacted by the researcher and by the participants. When this happens, it adds value to the research process. Action research also aims to bring realities together and raise awareness among the participants of all cultures and backgrounds. Participatory action research is a research paradigm that separates the researcher from the objects, and the objects are the participants or students in the sense of education. Action research does not like the scientific method because it does not focus on hardcore facts and data, but instead focuses on voice and one's everyday experiences. What are the cynical phases of action research? The cynical phases of action research are to plan, act, observe, and reflect. The cycle continues and can even change course depending on where the evidence takes the research. Action research involves action evaluation, critical reflection, and the use of evidence gathered. In Elliott's model has similarities as Kemmis and McTaggart's model. Identifying a general idea, recognizes or fact-finding, planning, action, evaluation, amending plan, and taking second action step, and so on. As it can be seen, action researchers use their skills, planning, and implementation of action to validate their evidence and critical reflection. O'Leary illustrates action research as a cyclic process that continues as knowledge appears. The model helps to better understand the situation and improve the execution of action based on practice of assessment between action and reflection. So why choose action research? Action research allows both students and teachers to be involved in the research process. Teachers learn to let go of some control and power in order to allow students to become more involved in their own learning and their needs. Students tend to participate more when they have a voice in their own learning. Action research allows teachers and students to expand their knowledge together rather than teachers just teaching information to students. Students are much more willing to participate and share their ideas when it is more relatable to their needs and interests. Reason and Bradbury state that participatory action research is a participatory, democratic, practical knowing in the pursuit of worthwhile human pursuits, grounded in a participatory worldview. Sometimes, though, there are different meanings attached to participants, and the research depends on the issues of life and the environment, a person's beliefs about oneself and the world around them. How does advocacy link to action research? Well, when action research is used in education, for example, it gives students a voice to advocate for themselves, their learning, their values, and the morals. It also gives students the freedom to voice their perspectives of different situations and information being taught. Action research lets students know they matter, their ideas are important, and they are important to their educator as well. It lets students know that their teacher values what they want to learn. Advocacy is about speaking out about issues, concerns, learning needs, and other situations that are important in education and to our students. How does ethical conduct link to action research? Ethical conduct links to action research through empowering students to voice their learning needs. Action research gives participants access to dialogue, arguments, and even provides alternatives to resolve dilemmas which students face daily. Everyone can share their views and values when action research is used because all participants are respected and more involved in the research. Action research is committed to social justice and questions what is morally right. Students as participants voice is a key component when looking to identify issues in education, such as disengagement. In one article that I chose to read, students expressed that the curriculum was not what was happening in their everyday lives, and therefore Balkensternen, a teacher in the article, decided to focus more on the students' real-life dilemmas in order to understand what was of meaning to her students. So when beginning this study, the procedures were approved under ethical approval from the Ministry of Education, gatekeepers, and students, and of course, herself, the researcher. What considerations to conflict resolution, conformity, and or notions of power which link to action research design? Considerations to conflict resolution, conformity, and or notions of power which link to action research design is giving students and participants control and leadership of their own learning. When a teacher steps back just a little and lets go the teacher-directed way of teaching, then students begin sharing and become more involved in their own learning process. Participatory action research offers more possibilities and provides a framework for individual responses and collaboration. When action research is used it provides a feeling of equalness and builds relationships between the researcher and the participant. For example, in schools, the teacher would be the researcher and the students, as the participants, would develop a more positive rapport with each other, therefore allowing students to share their interests and develop a real positive interaction between both the educator and the student. When using action research, one must recognize the community's needs and interests, which is referred to as a social process. Action research is often referred to as a soft method of research in the scientific world because of its lack of hard data and the fact that action research does not nor does it use the scientific methods. Action research instead focuses on everyday experiences. My references. Thank you, and I hope you enjoyed my presentation on action research.